everyone world over, all our brothers and sisters, wherever you are. We extend you a very warm welcome. It's a pleasure to have all of you with us this afternoon. We are going for yet another very powerful discussion, deliberation, and valuable inputs from Madam Veena Raizada from India. She's an education consultant, director, academics, new generation. She has given some of the most valuable inputs on different occasions. And today, Madam is going to talk about the new education policy 2020, empowering educators and collaboration skills and team building, because which is a buzzword and which is very important for all of us, because collaboration skills and team building is very important. So on behalf of our chamber ICSI, we extend her a very warm welcome. We are organizing 26 webinars, morning till evening beaming. We have got a program next at 3 p.m. Then we have got a program at 5 p.m. Then tonight there is a very important program at 8 p.m. when the AICT chairman, Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, along with our non-resident Indian from world over, they will be with us together on a common platform, and where we are going to deliberate and we are going to discuss. Can you imagine in the lockdown? Everybody is doing their own work the way they feel like, and that's why this drill machine noise also. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's proceed together, let's move together, and don't forget tomorrow on 30th, we are going to have skills, we are going to have entrepreneurship, and we are going to have MSMEs, micro, small, and medium enterprise, tomorrow at 12:30 in the afternoon, because ICSI is dedicating year 2021 to future education, and we are going to talk about making education relevant further. This is what the finding of entire pandemic: basic food, basic health, basic education. B2B is back to basics, not business to business. So whatsoever human mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Let's come together. Let's make education relevant. With these words, ladies and gentlemen, let me extend a very warm welcome. And since morning, this is the fifth webinar. We started early in the morning from Australia and New Zealand, and there's another three, then at 5, then at 6:30, and then there is at 8 o'clock. Four more webinars to go after this. Excuse me. So you can well imagine there's a great pressure. It's a running back to back, that's the way we have to go by. And life has to go on like a roller coaster, because post pandemic, there are going to be lots of challenges world over, and each one of us, we have to move ahead. So with these words, let's extend a very warm welcome to Madam Veena Raizada for yet another wonderful, wonderful, wonderful inputs and a program. Veena ji.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sharma. Once again, pleasure for me to be here on this platform with you. And we closed 2020 with 4 webinars of mine in continuation, one after the other.
Yes.
So that makes me like 4 decades sharing with all of you.
That's lovely. That's lovely.
Right.
So just give the topic to everybody so that people
Yes.
can recapitulate the 3 programs which you have already delivered. What were the topics like?
First one was the, I think, most challenging one for me also, that creativity and critical thinking. How to implement that in the school curriculum. And if you remember, we had taken the most difficult topics: history, geography, music, and sports.
Okay.
Because that's where incorporating these skills was a challenge. Science.
Then there was mathematics.
Yeah, there was some bit of mathematics also, but then more was on history and geography.
Right.
And then we went in for activity-based teaching, where we talked about NEP talks about learning, experiential learning, learning to do, learning by doing. So we talked about activity-based teaching, right? That how do you put the children into inquiry-based mode? How do you make the children ask the question? How do you put the children into thinking mode so that they explore beyond that?
Wow.
So we talked about metacognition levels.
Welcome to the 4th webinar today. Now the universe is yours, the globe is yours, the world is yours, people are yours. That part has to be taken into consideration. And with these words, I would
Right.
request you kindly close all the other gadgets at your residence or working place, wherever you are, because sometime it is showing yellow and red in between, so that I'm worried it should not happen that the signal goes away. So please go
No,
ahead.
sir. All others are all my
Yeah,
mobiles are
please
on.
go ahead. Please go
And the
ahead.
last webinar that we did on communication skills has lot of connection to today's webinar. So that is why I did it as third last one to connect to the 21st century fourth most important skill, the collaboration skill, and how do we go on for team building. So today's theme is collaboration skills and how do we make team building efforts and organizations that are collaborative, learning organizations, organizations that are ready to change, ready to take up the challenge and ready to go on. So that is what is today's theme, that we will talk about what is collaboration, collaboration skills and team building efforts. So I'm ready to share my screen with all of you.
Yes, it's there, ma'am. Just make it
Just
broader, bigger, bigger size.
Just 1 minute, sir. Just 1 minute. I'll be doing that. Give me a second.
Empowering educators, collaboration, skills, and team building with Madam Veena Raizada.
Ji, sir. So I'll just change the settings so that you have the screen according to that. Yes, we're there. So
Yeah,
the
please go ahead.
how do we empower ourselves as educators? Now, these educators need not be the ones in the school only, but parents also as joint educators, and even other organizations where the learning continuum has to be maintained in order to go on with the current scenario, which is forever changing and the future is uncertain. That is why Dr. Sharma's effort to put everybody into the mode of learning new skills, polishing and honing your professional competencies, and making everyone aware of that NEP 2020 talks about making India a knowledge superpower, making students of today ready for the jobs of tomorrow with the skills that will be helping them in many aspects of life. So they are more like life skills apart from being the academic cognitive skills, which are affecting the affective domain of Bloom's taxonomy. So my effort would be to go along the following timeline, that what is collaboration and the skills of collaboration? Why do we need to collaborate? And what are the challenges of collaboration in general? And I will also connected to the current scenario of online collaboration. So how does it help in team building? What is the process of creating effective teams? And finally, we as teachers, how can we be the collaborators in different departments that we have in the school? So I would be more confined with my teachers also, who would be expected to become collaborators not only on the edtech platform but also otherwise, so that the skills, the competencies, the knowledge zones that we are talking about for the current generation of digital learners in our classrooms, we can get them ready along with the life skills too. So I'll begin with, how do we understand collaboration? So what exactly is collaboration? It's a process, but collaborating efficiently is a skill. And that is what we have to learn. And that has to be done by practice, practice, practice. So collaboration, we may be understanding as a process, but efficiency we will develop as a skill that needs a huge practice in day-to-day lives also. It is not only for the education platform, but it is for everyone, even at homes. Now, what exactly is collaboration? When we come together to produce a piece of work, I'm sure each one of us has been familiar with jigsaw, the puzzles that we use even for the children at home when they are young, and even the puzzles that we solve on the edtech platforms. So it is more like a jigsaw. But what is it beyond jigsaw? That is what will be discussed in the following slides and following timeline. Then, how do we create collaboration? For creating collaboration, we will have to make clusters of participants who work together for a specific goal. There could be 2 clusters, 3 clusters, 4, 5, 6, depending upon the problem that you are wanting to address, depending upon the solution that you want to find out. How many clusters would be created and how each cluster is created, that is also very important for all of us. The specific characteristic of each cluster is that you are an expert of that particular part that has been assigned to you. You are not only a content expert and the research expert for that, but also you have the skills related to that. So number one, we start with making pieces, separate pieces, which will be put together to as a jigsaw puzzle to come out with a solution. Then we make clusters of participants who work together. Now each cluster will have people who have a particular expertise of content, knowledge, abilities, and the skill set too. Then we will have key essentials for every group, every cluster: leadership and management skills. And finally, we will have high level functionalities, because each part of the jigsaw puzzle, each cluster of the participant has to work along with the timeline so that the final product can be, final solution can be produced on time. Any one of the parts of that jigsaw puzzle not performing up to the mark, not performing along with the expected lines, the whole project would fail. So collaboration is an effort which is in sync with time, in sync with the other groups of clusters of participants, so that finally we can find out, put the all the pieces together to get a solution to the problem that we are discussing about. Next is, what are the collaboration benefits? I think when we are working in a group, we learn a lot from each other. And when we learn from each other, we create better interpersonal relationships. We improve our communication skills. We improve our efficiency of putting our ideas and putting our opinions. So there is a lot of discussion, and then there's a presence of mind being acknowledged by the team. Presence of mind being there as a part of the institution team makes me proud of that, and probably that leads to higher retention of employees, because you get a lot of satisfaction of doing what you are good at. Now, this is an effort of bringing people together with diverse skill set, because each cluster has got a particular skill set. So when you come together, all of together, how do you learn? So it is sharing of learning with each other when you work in collaboration. And that is for sure your mental growth, your cognitive growth, your interpersonal growth, your communication growth, everything grows when you work in collaboration. Now, it also, when we are working on online platform, how we are keeping all remote stakeholders also aligned to the organizational goals, because moment we have an issue, there is a virtual meeting and we are discussing, we are finding out the solutions and we are conveying it to them. So we are in real time collaborating to ensure that we are all on the same page for any issue that relates to our organization. Then we have the very important thing which NEP also talks about is integration of subjects. Let any subject not be taught in silos. So collaboration is almost like integration of units that cuts across these silos of different departments. So any department of the school cannot work in isolation when you are working as a collaborative organization. And that probably is the biggest advantage of collaboration skills and team building, building collaborative organizations. That is in perfect alignment with the NEP 2020, because that also talks about academic integration, curriculum integration, including the integration of art and sports and performing arts also. So integration is one important part of collaboration. So how do you do that? How do you plan that, execute it, and how every member, every cluster becomes a part of that vision is an effort which the leadership skills are required. Then what are the challenges of team collaboration? If we really want to make teams, what are the challenges? I have just they are not the all the points that I'm talking about, but sure enough, these are some of the points that we can talk about. Is team composition. When you want to compose a team, you have to really bring together people of diverse skill sets. Therefore, coordination of all of them together at times becomes an issue. As a founder principal of so many institutions, I had to really part of every team of mine in order to ensure that I can maintain the balance of all of them working together. Then, because there is a collaboration, there are too many people in a group, and then we have to work along with the other groups also. Finally, there could be communication confusions. There could be misinterpretations and miscommunications that we talked about yesterday also in our communication skills workshop. So how do you have this kind of communication confusions to be resolved? That is an art of leadership skill. Who is running the show? Progress continuum, timeline of work progress. You have to ensure that there are no delays. Like if there is no network today, probably I wouldn't have been able to do the session. If there is some issue of resources not being available, the team would not be performing at all. So there would be delays, there will be failures. The way MNCs run sprints, that means they have a 1 week assignment where every part of that sprint team has to work in coordination with each other, so that the final thing that we get at the end of the week is what we expected. So learning outcomes, expectations set, intentional outcome that you want will be there only when you are checking delays, you're checking failures, checking problems, checking issues that are not letting the progress happen. Now it is how do you sync all that? That is another issue for team collaboration. That process and production lines of all the teams together, all clusters together as a part of that jigsaw puzzle need to fit into each other. And lastly, as human beings, this is one of the points which I've mostly observed is how do we have reaction rattles? Means how do we keep on commenting upon how anybody is behaving, how the other team is working, whether somebody is lagging, whether somebody is going ahead, or somebody is leading the show and somebody is just a shy one. So these become an issue of some harmony that is lost while working in a group. So how do, as a leader of that group, leader of that cluster, I ensure that harmony and congenial relationships and congenial working environment is managed for all of us? That's very, very important to be happy hours at work. Unless you are happy to get on to the job like Dr. Sharma right in the morning and keep on going till 12 at night. There has to be trust, there has to be enthusiasm, there has to be motivation, there has to be purpose of doing that. So how do you ensure that your team stays motivated, team stays working online, on time, and is in sync with the other groups also, and not only with the team members within their clusters? So it's a challenge, biggest challenge, that how do you maintain those harmonious relationships, boosting the morale, encouraging somebody, clarifying certain issues, resolving conflicts. That is how team collaborations work. So as a leader, you need loads of skills of managing all these pointers to ensure that your team collaborates in the right way. Next, we talk about online collaboration and teamwork. This is the new model that is evolving and the new norm of work that we talk about. Of course, now it is over a period of time that all of us have been using. Everyone is at home working on online systems. So instead of using your SMS or email, probably the best thing will be to use any collaborative tools so that you can have group discussions, questions, and clarifications of all the members of that cluster or all the teams together. So you end up increasing efficiency and productivity. There is somebody who's launching the program called as Grab Guidance. So there is also something tutor available on call. There are such kind of platforms which have emerged in the recent times, recent months only, to ensure that student, teacher, any individual having any issue can connect with the person of that particular arena or that particular skill immediately by fixing an appointment. Like CBSE has got helplines during the examination times. So these are the platforms that are coming up, that call and connect, even for mental and pressures, or even for anxiety, and for everything there is a platform which connects you immediately. So those collaborative forms and the collaborative tools are definitely helping us out. Professional growth, now how we have all adapted, that's a wonderful thing which all teachers, all parents, all students have done it, that how we have adapted to the ed tech platforms and the tools. I know in the beginning we had lots of problems as educators. Even I myself had so many problems going on webinars in the beginning. But over a period of time, we have got a hang of it. We are not only competent to use enough the EdTech platform, whether it is Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, or Zoom meetings, but we are also capable of using the various tools within that platform. And one very important thing is there is a connectivity continuity for all of us. So we are able to connect with the people around, with my team members, with the whole team together, with my leader. So everything is making one part that seems to be very rosy, very happy one. However, there are challenges also even of the online model. Now, what are the challenges of this online model? So when we are doing, like, I'm having this webinar with all of you right now, but I'm not able to see all of you. So I am not aware of your expressions, your reception, the way a teacher can see in a face-to-face class, that how our students are behaving, what is the facial expression, is he nodding the head or is he just glumbling and putting his head down. So social emotional connects are missing in the virtual platform. Even if I'm having the team on the Zoom platform, there are many children who don't want to switch on the video. Leave apart children, teachers and parents do not want to switch on the video when you are connecting for whatever reasons. So there is a virtual communication good enough, but what is missing is that I'm not able to connect with heart, connect with feelings, read your receptivity, that how happy you are or how you are having a question that I want to really address. At times, children are even shy, even adults are shy to ask a question because they're not confident enough to feel that my question is up to the mark in order to be addressed on the open platform. So you will at times find out chat message even in the private message. So this is what is missing out in the virtual platforms. And then managing two-way communication and listening to all is not even possible in 40 minutes class or in 40 minutes meeting, unless we are grown up enough and we know how to speak to the point, brief, crisp, and then we can always have question around and then everybody putting up their point for solution. Then the time zones are different. The way Dr. Sharma was talking out, he started in the morning with Australia and he will keep on going on till night with different zones across the globe. So time zones needs, because there is a time zone difference. So if you want to collaborate across the globe, then you'll have to set a timeline where you can have a comfortable time with all the team members who are having the base location at different parts of the globe. So that time zone is another issue, that because that needs time adjustment. Then of course, network and tools availability, that's a grave concern for all of us. Apart from this, there are health concerns. There is a physical issue because most of the time we are sitting and doing the work in continuation. There are issues of mental well-being, stress and anxiety that are being addressed by the counselors, psychologists. And there is a desire now for the people to go out and have social get-togethers, and we are missing those social connects. Children are missing out going and playing with their friends. So on one side, we see the pros, and the other side there are cons, the disadvantages, the missing links while we are using this platform. However, technology is here to stay. Therefore, we got to learn to find out the middle path so that I can walk along that path, use technology also, and balance whatever is missing out. And sure enough, as educators, if you want to be the game changer, if you want to be leading the show, then you have to be apt proficient with digital tools. Technology cannot replace teachers. Computers, when it came, there was a very famous quote going, computers will not replace the teachers, but the teachers who do not use computers will definitely be replaced. So you got to become confident with your tools, confident with your ed tech performance. You're confident enough to content integration with technology, assessment integration with technology, as well as delivery mechanism with technology. So curriculum planning, delivery mechanism, assessment techniques, and finally the reflections and feedback to be given by virtual tools. So get ready these times, hone your skills, become proficient in all these skills, that you are going ahead in 2021 with the mastery of the skills of teaching learning process. I would be very happy to see all my teachers doing multiple collaboration tools and multiple uses of different tools on those platforms in order to engage the students better than what we are doing at the moment. Now, what are the elements of collaboration skills? There are 6 core elements. You can Google it out on any platform. You will find out these 6 skills which they are emphasizing upon, that are very important. Open-mindedness. So how open you are to receive the ideas from others, opinions from others, learn the facts from others. So how do you have even your own idea being criticized, evaluated by the others? So there has to be receptivity from both the sides. There is curiosity to find more and more ideas, but there is also a critical discussion. So critical thinking skills also become a part of this collaboration by itself. Critical thinking, creativity, and communication, the 3 skills that we have already done, are built into the collaboration skills. Next one is communication, that we have always been talking about, and then organization. How good you are at organizing the whole affair, how good you are using as a planner, how good is the clarification of tasks, responsibilities, and the targets to each one of the clusters, and every cluster team members also know that what is my job. Then we have long-term thinking, because we are looking for solutions of certain problems which are impacting the masses. Therefore, I need to be really thinking about what exactly I'm doing. What is my long-term vision? Then we have adaptability. Of course, this is something required in every individual. Adaptability, agility, flexibility, because transformation of yours, evolving of ourselves as a human being with the times is very, very important. We can't be thinking about what I did or what my parents did and that can work today. No, it will not work. So that needs to be modified. That needs to be improvised. So be ready for the change that you are seeing, be the part of the change, and then lead the transformation, not only in professional but also in personal lives. That's very important. That's going to be making your 2021 stepping a very happy and fruitful one. And the last one is debating competency. So how do you really, we talked about creativity. When there is a divergent thinking, we have the whole ideas coming up to us from various corners. But then we talked about critical thinking, when we can zero it down, convergent thinking, when we can zero down to the best solution, best idea on which we want to work. So as a teacher, how do you put that competency yourself, and how do you exhibit that and accept the criticism of even your own ideas from the others? That makes a lot of difference. So these are the core competency skills for collaborations and team collaborations, or creating organizations that are collaborating with each other. Now, collaborative teams and critical thinking, there are 4 quadrants, again, as a 360-degree view. So how do we have correlation of collaboration and team building? So what is the need to collaborate? So why do we need to collaborate is the first point, that as a leader, as a person who wants to collaboration, needs to clarify to the team members. Then we also need to have result of collaboration, that what will be the final outcome that we as a team would get, and what be the impact of collaboration, and what is the collaborative ability required for each piece of that jigsaw puzzle. That is very important for all of us. So as a leader, you need to have clarification of all those 4 pointers which have been shown into the screen slide. One relates to teamwork, another relates to direction, where we are moving to, third relates to efficiencies, and fourth relates to securities, that how good we are doing, finally we are coming out with some. So collaboration impact. So these 4 quadrants combine the idea of team building and collaboration. So it's a critical thinking that is very, very important. In fact, all the 4 skills, that 4 C's we of 21st century education that we talk about, are extremely crucial to be a successful 21st century learner, teacher, individual, parent, person, whomsoever you may be. But in order to live happily, you got to be competent in these 4 skills, apart from care for cultural diversity, care for Mother Earth, and maintain your curiosity of knowing, learning, exploring more and more, and give the similar opportunity to the students also. Now, this is something which all would be knowing also, but still I just thought that how do you evolve as a collaborator? So how do you have your teams as different nature personalities? Either you are participating, okay, fine, I'm with you standing here, tell me what do you. So you are a part of a group, part of a cluster, but you're just a participant. You tell me and I will do it. You keep me telling that I'll keep following your instructions and keep. Now, when you want to cooperate, so we have, when I start cooperating, then I start assisting. Then I start working together for the same goal. So I move from a participant to being a cooperative person. If I change my attitude, change my personal traits, change my thinking process, then I become. And when do I collaborate? When do I become a collaborative team member? Only when I synchronize my actions with that shared goal which the collaborative team is finally having. Then how do I, if I'm part of some cluster in that collaboration, how do I have synergy of the good relationships, synergy of working together, synergy of happy hours at work, so that we enjoy being together on that particular thought, particular idea. So there are people who are just participators. There are people who just stand cooperation. There are people who lead the different parts of that jigsaw problem, and they are the ones who are collaborating. And there will be one before the participant, non-ignorant, and one, everything is going on, it's okay. And there. So unless I'm forced upon to come upon it by threats or by something, I will not be wanting to do anything at all. I'm just okay. So where you find yourself, your team into it, that would be. So making clusters, making groups is very, very important. One simple activity that I do is always have names of 4 animals of different category. Like you have a tiger, you have a dolphin, you have a monkey, you have a squirrel. So ask your people to align your personality, because we are all animals. We are all social animals. So align yourself with any one of the group. You will find most of them will go to lions. If everybody is a lion, if everybody wants to be dominating in the group, then how will you make teams? So how do you bring in the transformation of your own teams, faculty members to begin with? That is the challenge. So there have to be some lion, there has to be some dolphins who are there has to be some monkeys who run around, there has to be some squirrels who are swift in actions. So there has to be right combination of different kinds of personalities, profiles, specific kinds of communication styles that will work for you when you're collaborating. So it is said easier but difficult to be executed and planned. So one has to be competent enough. So competency is one thing that counts a lot when you are trying to run a collaborative organization. Now, what is team building essentials? That's what will. So how do you constitute a team? How do you bring people together? Then what are the essentials for team building? Then how do you create teams which are high performance teams? And then there has to be purpose of doing something. Otherwise, the purpose of making team is I mean, it has got no meaning at all. So everything needs to be outcome oriented, learning outcome specific. Like we talked about in activity based learning also, even if you are putting a pencil into water, there has to be learning outcome that has to be associated. Even if you're dropping a lemon into water jar, there has to be corresponding learning outcome that has to be defined. So how do you put your planning process into a specific learning outcome? That is the purpose that defines that what kind of team will you make, who will you make a part of that cluster, and how will you constitute or have the composition of that team. I think it's before we see it. So what exactly is team and who are team members? I tried to put them for clarity purpose into two groups. Now, what is a team? When you have group of people, you change a group of people working independently into someone that together they make work for some task or a project. And then each group will have complementary set of skills. That is what is required. Like when we talked about the 6 thinking hats, the jigsaw puzzle, each group, each hat has got a specific purpose. Nobody is overlapping the other one. But when you put all the 6 things together, jigsaw is something similar to 6 thinking hats only. So when you put all those things together, then it becomes a team. I hope I'm clear. And then team members. These are the characteristics of team members. They share the authority, they share the responsibility. Somebody is leading at some time, somebody is following at other time, somebody else is leading, and then you are a part as a follower of the team. You are, in any case, everybody is accountable for the collective performance of the team. That's very, very important. And when we get the rewards, they are shared rewards. That is something as a part of team member you enjoy. Then, which are high performance teams? What are their characteristics? How do we say that that team is doing really well, or that school is doing very well, or that organization is doing very well? There has to be something characteristic of that particular organization, the members, the teams who work there. So what are those? I've just jotted down 4 points. That how do they have a strong sense of mutual commitment, that I have to do it. And it's wonderful to see Dr. Sharma's commitment to complete 500 webinars, and he was on it till he completed. And then how do you have synergies you creating all through with, like SI platform is connecting with parents, with students, with teachers, with NRIs, with educators of different groups, higher level, school level, beyond that, entrepreneurship, everything is being done. So it is creating synergy of all the systems required for a happy life, peaceful life, and wealth of good health in abundance. And how do they generate performance that is greater than if I was doing it individually? So how do they put the whole thing together, synchronize it, put it together, and then create something which is wonderful for everyone else also to see, wow, you have done it. That is the kind of feel that you get. So putting them into particular characteristics, what will you get? The first one is they're all creative. They can generate ideas. That's the first characteristic. The second one is they're effective. So whatever they think and finally decide to do, you will see something coming out, some impact, some evidence of learning, some evidence of what they are doing. So part by part, it is just like that seed germinating slowly into a plant. So you will see first put the seed, then you will see the small sapling coming out, then it will grow softly into a small plant, and then how it will grow into a full grown plant when it will bear fruits and flowers. So it is effective work of the high performance teams that talks about them. Next one, they're innovative. They can innovate and find out new things, new solutions. And then lastly, they are communicative. So they express, they ask questions, they exchange ideas, they exchange expressions, they critically discuss everything. So they're open to critical reviews and feedback. And that is what makes a high performance team. So you think your team, your institutions, to look back and reflect upon your actions, look back upon your team's reactions and responses to understand that how can I transform my organization into a creative, effective, innovative, and communicative teams. That is how we will have high performance institutions, high performance teams, high performance departments, and then you will be labeled as a high performance leader too. Next one is team building complementary skills, because you cannot have physics teacher sitting with a physics teacher and then create something. So physics, chemistry, bio, science, maths, finance, accounts, everything, including the environment, will have to come together in order to find a solution for climate problems. So it is no one can work in isolations. No one can work in silos. So these are the complementary skills. You can see so many C's around: collaboration, cooperation, commitment, coaching, competency, communication, and most important that we talked in the communication class also, conflict resolution. That's very important for us as human beings, how to control our temper, how to control our thoughts, how to give responses which are adaptable and okay for everyone in the group, right? Next one is teamwork skills. Team complementary skills and teamwork skills, they are different. So when your teamwork skills, you have to be a planner, organizer, interpersonal, influential person. You have to take decisions. You have to be a problem solver, and you have to even a person who can persuade people along the team to do what is expected of the group as a whole. You have patience. Even if you fail, you redo it, replan it, and come back with a new hypothesis, new solution. So patience, persistence, perseverance. And how do you get the feed forward? That is very, very important. So differentiate between what are the skills complementary required to make a team, and if you have to work as a team, what are teamwork skills required? There are two different parts of the same concept. So how do we have the process of creating the effective teams? Before that, I would just like to stop the share and really use and show it to you certain things with my manipulatives. So I'm just wanting to show you this triangle. Do you think it has a flexibility? Does it have flexibility? Can you make it bigger, smaller, or change it? Sir, your answer, I need anybody chat me. So does it have flexibility? Yes or no? Put it yes or no. You will find that whatever way I move it, the three corners are fixed and I cannot reshape this triangle. So yours is a fixed organization. If you have this triangular type of setup in your organization, that it is a fixed mindset. Whatever we are that only. But the moment you change it to the simplest possible four-dimensional figure, ye dekhiye aap. This becomes square. Now how you can make it flexible? How you can make it flexible? So adding just one more group, how it brings in flexibility. But now again, look at this. This flexibility is restricted. This flexibility is restricted because you can only bring these two together or these two together. Now let me show you the next one. The moment I make it a different figure altogether with 5, 6 things, let me put just a minute. These are all magnetic sticks. So the moment I make a bigger one, I'm sure Dr. Sharma, you need to look at this. So how can you change different kinds of this? So how much flexibility creeps in? At the same time, your organization has got different departments. So red, purple, lavender, yellow, green, blue, they all represent different departments. But the moment you have this kind of organization, this is so much of flexibility. You can bring in any part together. So flexibility, adaptability, agility. How do you bring it? I want to show one more piece to all of you. Little more time of yours, Dr. Sharma. I know you are very busy, but look at this. Tell me, what do you all see? This is actually tangrams, right? So why I'm showing you the square is, even though it is a square, but how square has different parts of shapes means different parts of your organization, they must fit together to be perfect square. You can be a high performing team. You can be a perfect team only when all parts together make a perfect square. So it has, this is simple square that has been cut in. So you have bigger part, smaller part. The importance of this jigsaw puzzle is that each part is important. Even the security guard is important. Even the housekeeping person is important as the your main administrative setup with the blue, or main academic setup with the orange. So each part of your organization has to come together and fit into so well that your organization is a perfect one. Then it will be called as a collaborative organization. Then it will be high performance team of your institution. Only then you will have flexibility, agility, and you will put every part of your organization perfectly fitting into a square. So everyone knows one's responsibility, everyone knows one's assignment, and everyone has got a different skill set as had been shown with a different. So I made this with the different colors also to show that each team has different skill set, different expertise, and that is how we work upon that. So we'll go back finally to sharing of the screen. I hope you all enjoyed that. So we'll be,
Yes, yes.
yes. So how do we work on that? So next we'll talk about how, what is the process of creating effective teams.
Somebody has joined from Assam.
Great, sir. So what is the process of creating effective teams? I've just jotted down few pointers and I hope they will serve the purpose of it. So what is stage one? That stage one is called forming. That how do you form the team? So how do you set the context is the first point. That I want to make teams for this purpose. Like you have an annual function of the school, you will create teams for different assignments, right? So how do you have setting the context? So these are the pointers. So specific objectives of creating a team. Why do you want to create a team has to be very clear point to start with. Then you have each member, you have a meeting so that each team can meet the cluster of people that have been put into one group. Sorry. So you could even have a group discussion to ensure that each member, each team, each cluster is clear of the assignment, clear of the purpose, that why do we want to work like this? We are doing it in this organizations already, but little more clarity we're sharing today. And then here the leadership role is very clear. Unless you have a clarity of vision, clarity of understanding of learning outcomes, and being open to modifying your vision, modifying your goals, depending upon how the teams in the first brainstorming sessions are giving you feedback. Then you have your open-mindedness to receive those ideas, have this convergence of these ideas to a particular theme, and then you share it with the complete staff that this is what we are going to do it, complete organization, faculty, that we are going to do this. So the first point is, why do you want to create a team? There has to be setting of context, the forming point. Okay, the next one is storming. So how do you do the team composition? So as we discussed in the beginning, the team composition has to be the people with abilities of each member. There has to be personality profile, there has to be communication style, there has to be members of diversity together, because ultimately that is how we can work together. Then there has to be flexibility and preference. Then finally allocation of rules, that who will do what. So as a leader, your role to begin with, to create those teams is very, very important. Then you can leave each team with their own leader, each leader to be responsible for the working of their each cluster that we have created. Next stage is norming. That how do you design the work that is to be allocated? So how do you have the smart goal setting, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound? It cannot keep going on. That you have to tell them the final result is it's a project for 3 months, 6 months, 1 week, 15 days, fortnight, whatever. But that clarity has to be there for all of us. Next one is skill variety is aligned. So each group gets into a group where my expertise, content wise, skill wise, assessment wise, evaluation wise, is aligned to the work that has been given to me. Task identity is identified, and then we have task significance clarity, that why I have asked you to do that, because that is how we allocate as educators, that you will be the timetable in charge, you will be the examination in charge, you will be the assembly in charge, because we need know the competency and skills of each and every member. They are called the pillars of your institution. Then the next stage is performing, that work progress. How do you track it? So how do you give autonomy to the people to work? How do you monitor and mentor? And then how do you have constructive feedback and reflection? Without that, all work has got no meaning at all. So how do you get the feedback? How do you reflect on your work? And how do you rework or improvise on whatever is expected? Then how do you evaluate? So how do you have your rubrics, criteria for evaluation? And then you know what you are doing and how much is the gap between learning outcomes that you defined and learning outcome that you have got. And that is how you can replan the whole thing and go for reforming or remediation or reconstruction of whatever has been produced, right? Then we have, finally, as we discussed, reflection. The final is, how do I evaluate each team? So how do I embed the timely evaluation? Because some people might be slow, some may be going very fast, aggressively, some may be doing average work. So how do I evaluate? So I'm just showing you the vertical growth of the teams. The first level will be pseudo team. They're just performing below level. They're not even able to get along with the work assigned. They're struggling to do that. So that is performing below average. So you have to, as a leader, you got to know that. Next one, potential team. They have the potential, but struggling, they're above average. Next level is real team, which has got complementary schemes, committed to common goals, approach, some mutually accountable, and everybody is happy working together. That's a real team in action. There is something beyond that also. And that is high performing team, deeply committed to one another's personal growth and success. So I don't grow alone. I'm not walking alone. I'm not leading alone, but win-win situation for everyone is there. That is high performance. And this is a vertical growth of your teams as per the evaluation. So as a leader, if you find one part of your clusters is not working, then you will have difficulty completing the project. So how do you monitor them? How do you mentor them? And how do you bring them to next level? And that is how you will be able to have the complete jigsaw puzzle into one set. They will create something unidirectional and you will have a learning outcome that you want and you will be happy having done that work. So go for it. Now I'll just talk about certain roles as teachers. How can you collaborate? And this I have taken from ASC. This is Association for Supervision of Curriculum and Development, the organization that was formed way back, I think, it was founded in 1943. It's US-based organization, and even India is part of this organization. There are many other countries, almost 123 countries part of this organization, and maybe more, little more as on it. And last number that I remember is 123. So it is ASCD. So the next few slides where I talk about teachers as leaders, teachers as collaborators, what you can do with your expertise. And this whole thing is aligned with the thought process of ASCD, Association for Supervision of Curriculum and Development. There are so many good articles to be read from this, so many good connections that you can grow up with. So go for reading out the stuff on ASCD platform. So the very first thing that we talk about is, if you are a curriculum specialist, so how do you collaborate within the different subject departments of your school? And how do you maintain consistency of curriculum planning? You could be collaborating for that. So you could become a curriculum collaborator. So that is your specialization, because I know how to plan, how to do the curriculum planning, and how to ensure that when it is being done, all activities, interactivities, evaluation, number of holidays, number of working days, everything is known to me. So you could be a curriculum collaborator. Then next one, if you are the one who can facilitate the professional growth of your staff members as well as of your students, the learners as a whole, you could be a learning facilitator and learning collaborator, where you collaborate with the staff members of your institution as a whole, not your department, but as a whole, to ensure that there is sharing of knowledge and expertise and helping hand reaching out to all those who are in need. And the most important point for the students that you mention is differentiated learning. So how do you address, even NEP talks about how do you address the gifted and talented students separately? How do you bring everyone to the school? So increase the enrollment ratio in the lower classes. How do you check the dropouts of students? So how do you create those learning environments which are learner friendly, which are integrated, which are innovative, which are inspiring, and then innovative? So children want to come to the school, they rush to the school. So you could be a learning collaborator of your organization if you are a person with good competency professional of teaching learning process. The next one, oh my God, I'm so good. I have all the online resources and website pool with me, and I have one. And then how do you share those instructional tools, website resources, and how do you help people, including parents, to adapt to the technical support that they need? So if you are a tech expert, if you are the person who has got resources, the reference of ResearchGate, which I keep on reading and mentioning every now and then, that is a website which is worth reading for any article, any topic that you want to really think about. ASCD is another platform that you can always refer to. There are other interactive platforms which at times when I will do a session on tools and techniques of online teaching, then I will share all of them. Like how do you use Edpuzzle, how do you use Flipgrid, how you use Mentimeter, Kahoot, Nearpod, and how do you use assessments, how do you use mind maps as a teaching tool. That's what are all tools online. So if you are a resource person who has got the whole resource references with you, you want a physics book, here is the book, this is the title, this is what it will be available, go for it. So that is how, if you are a person who has got an asset of resources, you could be a resource provider as well as a resource collaborator for any organizations that you can talk about, for any organizations that you talk about. So how can you can be the person who runs the whole show because you got everything with you. You asked anything and it is with me. So that is resource collaborator. Next one, learning environment architect. That is something very important and crucial to ensure that your learning institution, your company, your is right at the place where everybody loves to come to work. It is happiness of being together for work. So in the school environment, how do you transform the learning spaces where you talk about student achievement, where you talk about change in student behavior, change in teaching behavior, change in teacher leader roles, and change in leadership behavior too. In that case, you could become a collaborator for learning environment architect. All these terms really are so inviting that one would like to have everything learning, but then obviously it will take a lot of time for all of us to be at that. So start with one at least and keep going up. And next one is make an impact. by monitoring, mentoring, supervising, guiding, facilitating, adjusting, training, and helping new staff members to induct in your teams, that how can they be adjusting in the new environment. It's not only for teachers, but only for students. The new students joining your institution have a lot of issue with adjustment with the new group, with the new teaching environment, with the new classroom setups, new assembly rules. Therefore, how do you help children and parents adjust to your institution's environment? How do you help new teachers to come and be happy in your faculty as members? Therefore, how you are becoming a collaborator for making an impact. So it is monitoring, mentoring by doing all those kinds of activities. So find out which talent or which field which really inspires me to go on, and keep working on that. So, and something very important in the 21st century is data analysis. Everyone is talking about data analysis. That is how even school education is talking about assessment as a tool for teaching learning. That is how NEP 2020 is talking about Parak. It is talking about assessment at grade 3, 5, and 8 levels. How it is talking about evaluation at different levels in order to ensure that the gaps of learning could be covered wherever they are detected. So you could be the one who makes an impact, and the principal or the leader at the top says, oh, this one is indispensable to the organization. So how do you make yourself indispensable for your organization, for being an expert collaborator with specific skills in any one of these? That is your choice. You can identify your own innate potential, identify your own expertise, and go for it. And then you have data analyst. If you're good at technology, tech tools usage, and you can convert the data of assessment, data of enrollment, data of visitors, data of students who have not paid the fees for the institution by some softwares or some things that you innovate upon, then you could be a data analyst collaborator for your organization. So how do you analyze the information that you have and give it back to the teachers if they want, if it is for men, give it back to the leadership, give it back to the management for studying and implementing the resolutions required to rectify those. So you could be a collaborator as a data analyst. And finally, something that's very interesting for all of us, you could be the catalyst for change. So you're an influencer, you talk, you communicate, you take care of the people who are not finding themselves comfortable. How do you help them out? Students, parents, teachers, even the support staff of the school. How do you help their problems? How you are a helping hand all around. So you are the catalyst for transformation to be effective in the school. So how you are collaborating for change management, where how you are helping each and everyone. When the visitor analysis were introduced at the security gate, how security staff was trained to take photographs, note down their numbers, and have the scanning of their Aadhaar cards or visitor cards before they could be allowed to enter. So that was a process of sharing the learning with the people there. How Uber and Ola drivers were trained to use the GPS and to connect with the customers. So they were the people who made them learn that. So they were the people, specialist people, in order to train these kinds of people. So you could be a leader in change management, catalyst in change management, collaborating all across the institutions to ensure that your institution becomes a learning organization. Your institution is a collaborative organization, and we all are happy being part of it. And with that, I come to the final slide of the day. Wrap up again. I wrap up the wealth of good health, peacefulness, happiness all around with flowers on top of it, and close my session with a mind map, which I always keep on using towards the end. That mind maps are a multi-purpose learning tool. And this mind map again is from the website ResearchGate. Go there and you will find the same match, only the center point I have realigned to the thought process. Otherwise, the rest of the mind map is from the mind map link that I've given of the research get down there. I hope each one of you felt as happy as was I while sharing this. And Dr. Sharma, this is the closing of my session. Thank you everyone for being there on the YouTube to be with me and with Dr. Sharma on this day. And then I'm very happy to have done the fourth webinar with Dr. Sharma in the last 10 days.
There is a thank you very much. It's such a wonderful, powerful, all four programs which we have done together. There is a demand which has come. I was quite happy because when the demand comes and you conduct a program, they're asking me that can you conduct a program on social etiquette on webinar?
Me?
No, in future.
Actually, that's for you. Right.
In future, they're asking our chamber. So I would leave it with you this thought. People are asking, could you organize a webinar on social etiquette for organizing webinar? What are the norms? What are the ways and ethics to be followed when you are having this webinar series, interactions, people world over and all that. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was a wonderful session from Madam Veena Raizada ji. Many more sessions to come from India and many more wonderful days ahead with I always tell her that I'm a self-imposed elder brother. So,
I welcome you in my life, sir. I welcome you with open heart, with open arms. Thank you for being there.
So God bless you, ma'am, and do well. Keep it up. Take care of yourself and wish you a wonderful 2021. Wonderful days ahead and many more innovations keep bringing to empower the education ecosystem, irrespective whether schools or colleges or universities or skills or competencies, whatsoever is there, all of us, we got to be together in this particular journey. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very